Hello YouTube, Jumping23 here with the other Spark mission, Darkmess in the Cauldron. This is the second time in this run that I had to peek at the answer key, so thanks to NatNew32 for the blueprint of this clear, link in the description. The main trick here is something I didn't realize about Mario's hero sight. It gains a new charge every time it kills an enemy, not just once per turn, so with a buff enough Mario, it can basically take out the entire map. This is easier said than done because actually triggering hero sight on these enemies can be hard. They don't like to move on enemy phase, and glitter doesn't play well with hero sight, because Mario's dual slingers will shoot two enemies once instead of one enemy twice, failing to kill and thus failing to get new charges. Mario uses Vamp Star for his damage buff because he needs to crit 1 out of 2 on most of these enemies in order to one-shot them. At a 70% crit rate, this gives me a 91% success rate for each of his attacks. There are 5 enemies he needs to crit kill, and he can afford to fail once. The total chance of success is just over 93%. Luigi only needs 1 team jump here, but he wants all his dashes, so he does a second jump just for that. The dash on that Magician is weirdly finicky. It likes to not pop up over the cover and fail to trigger Mario's Overwatch. I found that dashing it from the left is much more consistent, but it can still fail. Not really sure what I'm doing differently when it does fail. Magicians are the only enemy frail enough that I don't need any crits from Mario. He kills 3 of them here, and 5 oozers and depleters. I have Spark Energy on absolutely everybody, just for reliability. I shouldn't need any charges. The map has a unique gimmick here. There are throwable spheres that basically function as barrels on demand. There are ones for Ooze, Shock, and Gust. The former two I use just to improve reliability. The Gust one though is very helpful for triggering hero sight. I use it to take out the hardest to reach enemy like this. I specifically want to blow the guy to the right, so I line up the throw carefully. Oh yeah, I got my last 30% damage buff spark in Terra Flora, Oozer Master. I'll be equipping that one a lot, obviously. Rabid Mario has it right now. The enemies near Luigi are all cleared out. It's time to take out the elevated enemies on the other side. So Luigi and Mario will head over there. This jump isn't that tight, but I got paranoid and decided to retry it. As you can see though, there is leeway. I move Mario way into a corner so that glitter doesn't trigger hero sight. I don't need it to, and like I said, I'm scared of burning any charges. Rabid Mario doesn't get anything out of a dash here, but if he gets pinned, I can't afford to use one. I only need 7 dashes for hero sight, and I have 8 at my disposal after a multi-dash. Anyway, this is where I use the other 2 orbs for reliability. Takes the bulkier enemies well in range of the fists. It's very funny to see Luigi running a pure support build, using just turbocharge and multi-dash on this map instead of his attacks, but he's still the best man for the job because of his extra movement after bouncing. It's incredible how versatile Luigi is. Maybe I could have used Edge instead of Luigi, but whatever. I pause before every dash to pray to the crit gods.
Here we go!
Mario sets up his own final kill, completing Darkmess in the Cauldron in 1 turn.
Way to go!
Now it's time for Efflorescent Gateway. Gateway maps are always hard in a similar way. I reset rigged for a while to get a good layout. Once on an earlier layout, I thought I might actually need Bowser for the 1 turn, and I got excited, but I was wrong. But you get to see Rabid Luigi here, which isn't nearly as cool. I use 5 spark powers on this clear. I specifically need a spark energy proc on Rabid Mario, who needs to boost his own damage output with both turbocharge and aquanauts. Fortunately, we can reset for this right at the beginning. Rabid Luigi needs a crit on this guy, even after dashing him twice. With Vamp Astra, he has a 90% chance, plus the 10% chance of a dash crit, so this is good odds. Then yet again, barrels conspire to make Rabid Luigi look good. I have to wait for this fire animation before I'm allowed to do anything. Edge dashes these enemies in a certain order. She can't attack the squasher with the first dash, she needs the heat up effect in order to one-shot it. 3 dashes is also just enough to reach the pipe without a team jump, although she never ends up needing hers. We'll be taking out this Sea Stooge with only dashes, so Edge gets started on that project. This is like the one time that Edge's dash pipe interaction benefits us, resetting her circle so she can reach her glitter point without a team jump. Then she pulls in every other enemy on the map with glitter. I do it now because sometimes the pathfinding breaks and I have to reset. I specifically removed Rabid Mario's area of effect dash damage on this map to avoid burning myself on that barrel accidentally. Then I just have to finish us off with the Dukes. I'll need 1 out of 5 crits at 15% chance, or about 55% total chance of success. The Wildcats are so bulky that I need splash power, their weakness, for them, but the Sea Stooges resist that, so they just barely survive unless I crit. Efflorescent Gateway is cleared in 1 turn. Our last map is the Sluggish and the Puckish, the third and final time that I needed help reaching the turn 4. Credit to Jaro for the idea here, again link in the description. This map's objective is defeat 20, and I'm given Rabid Rosalina and Rabid Luigi. It always starts with exactly 11 enemies on the map. 7 more can spawn in at the end of turn 2, and then 7 more at the end of turn 3. Since I have no Overwatch skills, I thought I was stuck forturning the map, but there is another way. The Wild Claw Master skill summons an allied Wild Claw. These guys are capable of taking out the last 2 enemies on enemy phase. Of course, they're still weak to splash when I use them, and the enemies on this map are almost all Sea Stooges. I had to learn a lot about AI Manip in order to make this clear happen. Well, before we count our chickens, let's focus on the first objective. We need to nearly route the map on turn 1. I'm not sure if surviving enemies will block reinforcements on this map, but when in doubt, simplify. Rabbid Peach's Glitter plus Electrogeddon combination is great here for taking out Sea Stooges. Squashers actually resist shock, but they're frail, and she can finish this one off with a dash if required. Sometimes though, Electrogeddon is enough, as it is here. Rabid Luigi dashes the 2 enemies who need a little extra help before sending them off to the underworld with, yet again, the help of barrels. This massive explosion also takes out most of the cover on this platform, which is important. The reinforcement portals appearing where they do is not random. I manipulated them to spawn there because they always like to spawn as far away from the player as possible. That's why Rabid Rosalina stayed on that far platform. We'll need Electrogeddon again on turn 3, so Rabid Rosalina uses cooldown clock before dashing this squasher. Rabid Luigi breaks this cover with a POW block. This is another AI manip. Sea Stooges prefer to attack from cover whenever possible. By removing all but 1 block of cover from this platform, we can consistently make them move to the same spot. It's slightly less important here, but I blow up these barrels with Aqua Quake for the same reason. This manipulates the Sea Stooges that will spawn on this enemy phase to all bunch up, letting Rabid Rosalina take them out with an Electrogeddon. I could have used Glitter to much the same effect though, I guess. I'm using specifically Aqua Quake to give Luigi splash resistance. Then Rabid Rosalina moves back to the other platform to manipulate the reinforcements again. Rabid Luigi will be attacked by all 6 Sea Stooges that spawn on this enemy phase. That's on purpose. Wild Claw Master gives plus 35% defense. With that buff factored in, the 9th Sea Stooge attack will kill Rabid Luigi. We need him to die in exactly 3 hits on the next enemy phase, so we take the other 6 hits on this one. Critical hits are trenched though. I can only afford to be crit twice in 8 hits. 20% chance for crit. Total chance of crit screwing me out of a run, also almost exactly 20%.
Hey! Wow! Ow!
Anyway, we make it to turn 3 this time without too many crits, and the reinforcement portal spawned where I wanted. Rabid Rosalina uses Electrogeddon, which can randomly leave 1 to 3 stragglers, but we have enough dashes and actions to handle any stragglers. I have so much to say that I can't commentate in real time past this point, so keep what I'm saying in mind while it actually happens. First, I'll summon my Wild Claw ally. Unlike enemy Wild Claws, mine is frail. It's 2-shot by Sea Stooges, though it still hits hard. Its summoning position is quite finicky. I'll need it right up against the one remaining cover block. When it's hit, it will splash away, and it needs to be able to run back up and punch its attacker. Normally, allies will move when summoned, but as there are no enemies alive, he'll stay put. I need to place one POW so that the Wild Claw's attack will trigger it, and the POW will also hit the Stooges. That's because the Wild Claw's attack on its own doesn't do enough damage. This position is also very finicky. The POW can fuck with AI pathfinding in a way that ruins my clear, and it took hours of trial and error to find a working setup. The last thing to do is have Rapid Luigi stand closer to the portals than the Wild Claw. The Sea Stooges will use a Splash Dash before they use their weapon, and only the latter triggers Wild Claw retaliation. They'll always dash the nearest target to their starting point, and I need that to be Rapid Luigi. They like to shoot the lowest HP target, and I need that to be Rapid Luigi as well. I need him to die to the second Splash Dash. That way, this Sea Stooge will want to shoot him, but he's dead, so he'll shoot the Wild Claw instead. The Wild Claw will return and attack, clearing this map in 3 turns, after hours of trial and error. Thanks for watching.